when you grow up, your parents, especially Asian culture, they only have a specific expectation of doctors, lawyers, and those are the only things they know that give them access to be successful.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's Anna, your master lash artist here at the Lash Live. But today we're not in the studio. We are with Lucy from WoaLash. She is founder, educator. Girl, tell us.
Hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me,
Yes,
Anna.
of course.
My name is Lucy Wo, and I am the founder and lead educator of WoaLash. Thank you all for coming in here and like literally set camp, and we're so ready.
Absolutely. Your place is amazing.
Thank
you did a
you.
beautiful, beautiful job with your place. We love it.
Thank you.
But everybody wants to know, and the main reason why we do these interviews is because we want to target a lot of our beginner lash techs, and we like doing these interviews so that they can get inspiration.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
So tell us from the very beginning, why did you want a lash? Tell us about your journey.
There was never like, I woke up one day and I wanted to do lashes. It was more like, I need to do something for myself.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that was, but I had to start somewhere. So I put myself through an esthetician school, and I was offered to take a lash class in the esthetician school, and I did, and I became super obsessed with it. So when people talk about, well, I don't know where to start, I'm waiting for the inspiration or the motivation to hit me, and then I'll take action. It's actually quite the opposite. It's actually just taking action, and then the inspiration and the motivation and will come to you.
Absolutely.
And that's how I got started, is that I became obsessed with lashes, and I never thought that was something I could do.
And you know what? That's really amazing, because I feel like everyone that I talk to, it doesn't happen because like you planned it. Right? It always happens like it falls in your lap, or it's an accident, and then you just obsessed with it. Yeah, it's like you fall in love with it, and then this is your career. You know what I mean? It's never like, well, this is the plan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And you know, when you grow up, your parents, especially Asian culture, they only have a specific expectation of doctors, lawyers, and those are the only things they know that give them access to be successful.
Yeah.
So that was never planted as a seed in my world, you know?
Yeah.
And so this was definitely a oops, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's amazing. But tell us, so in your journey, what did you run into that was like, maybe this is not for me? Or should I keep going? Should I pursue this? Like, did any of that happen with you?
Absolutely, every single day. I mean, I feel like we all go through it every single day in different genre, whether it's mental or physical or financial. We're gonna hit with that obstacle every single day. There are times where, you know, I just didn't think I was good enough. I took 4 hours on a set. I took 3 days on a set, and I have someone's man yelling at me that their girl's lashes look like crap, you know? Or I've had a client that literally canceled their appointment in front of me when I pre-booked. So all of those discouragement was just like, maybe this is not for me. You know, maybe I just really suck. You know? So I feel like expect it is what my biggest advice is. Expect failures and expect obstacles, because those are going to be the things that that help and boost your growth.
Yeah, a lot of our, you know, new lash techs out there, they get really discouraged. You know, they compare themselves a lot to other lash techs at the very beginning, and even, you know, I'm sure we do that sometimes now, right? And our journeys are all different. We're all going different directions. Our goals are not the same. And you know, you're right. Expect the unexpected, right? Expect those blockages, those roadblocks, all of that, because those things are going to get you ahead once you get over those hurdles. Right? And it's just so hard sometimes. Don't get discouraged. It's going to happen for you if you continue. Right?
And your excuses has to be bigger your purpose has to be bigger than your excuses. That's what I live by, literally, because there's going to be so many excuses of your brain, you know, telling you that this is not for you.
Yeah,
but your biggest purpose is, you know, it's got to be bigger than that.
Yeah. So when you got started, tell me, where did you do your first lash set?
Oh, in school.
In school.
So I was very lucky that I was already in beauty school. I had a bunch of girls around me. So I'm like, let me do your lashes. And I remember I was gluing them to the skin.
You're like, I think this is what it's supposed to.
I was like, how is it gonna, you know, stay longer if I don't glue it to the skin? I gotta poke the hole in there.
Yeah.
So I remember my best friend, we were in school together, Ricky, and he was like, honey, it's not supposed to touch your skin. And his eyes are closed and red and puffy. And
he's your model.
He was my model. And he was been getting lashes done, and he was like, baby, it's not supposed to touch your skin. And I
feel it. He's like, I feel it, and it's not supposed to touch your skin.
I was like, how long will you stay, babe? You know, so that's how I got started.
Yeah.
And then I remember I've literally asked every single person I could within like the next few months to do lashes, but I was so desperate at home. So I knocked on my neighbor's doors.
Really?
I kid you not.
Oh my God.
I was like, do you want to get your lashes done? And then that neighbor knew someone, and I'm like, girl, just $20.
Oh
just
my God.
come in.
Yeah.
And, you know, they didn't know what they were getting themselves into. And that's how I got started. I was starving to practice.
So were you practicing in your living room, or what was it?
Living room for sure.
Living room.
I have a picture on my Instagram page, like where it's all got started, and I thought it was the cutest thing in the world.
I know. I look back at mine.
Oh my
I look back at mine too, and I'm just like,
this is grade A. This is 5-star hotel right here.
I'm like, man, that was ghetto. You know what I mean?
Yeah, your IKEA little desk.
I'm like, in my what?
Yeah, no, definitely. I got started in a living room, got a spa table, got a little facial lamp, and it kind of went from there. Found as much tablecloth as possible to make it a little bit more cushion, but that was cute. That was definitely a good.
I know, we all start somewhere, you know, and it's so amazing looking back at those pictures. Like you said, you posted that picture of where it all started.
Yeah.
And then where you are now, and it's like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Can't believe
I have come a long way.
Absolutely.
And it makes you feel blessed,
Yeah.
right? That you look at that little picture and then you look at all of this and you're like, I feel so blessed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, gratitude is one of the biggest things that you could ever have as an entrepreneur. And it's definitely, it has been an amazing journey along this you know, process, but definitely gratitude. And those are going to be the things that you have to be reminded every single day, and how far you've came.
Exactly. I feel like every day, when you're a new lash tech, every person, like you said, that you use as a model, even if it's free or $20 or whatever, you know, I tell my students, it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
Somebody's even paying you $20 to learn.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to let you practice on them.
Yeah.
So take everyone that says yes.
Yes.
You know
and
what I
change
mean?
your perspective.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's either, oh, she's only paying me $20, or she's actually paying me $20.
I used to glue them on the lids.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
and now they're paying me.
At least I'm getting paid. You know?
Exactly.
So it's all about perspective.
Exactly. And you know, I don't want people to feel like, some people have very unrealistic expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll be like, oh, well, I'm going to leave here and I'm going to go charge, you know, $150. And I'm just like, you need to practice. That's not reality.
I tell my students that all the time. You need to earn your place.
Yes.
Where you are in the industry.
Yeah.
And it's not to look at everybody, but also you need to know where the standards are. Yeah. Right? And I think that everybody needs to earn their hard work and their practice and their hours that they put in. And it shows.
Absolutely. Exactly.
So yes, setting the expectation for yourself and where you are, it's definitely really important.
Yeah. Tell me, how long did it take you from lashing in that little room to being here today? How long did that take you?
Ooh. I want to say slowly, right? Because there's never been like a time where, oh, it just happened.
Yeah.
It slowly grew. So I want to say like a year or two where I was doing it part-time.
Yeah.
Where I didn't want to take risk. I was just scared.
Yeah.
And to where like, I'm going to starve. Like I put myself in that position to where if you don't do this, you're going to starve and you're going to be homeless.
Yeah.
So the mindset pivoted completely.
Yes.
And that's when that's when I grew like faster than expected. And so there's not amount of time where I tell you, but within the expansion of like 8 months to 2 years, I want to say, I started to see my growth. And then there's never, like, I always ask my mentor or someone who I get inspired by, I'm like, so when do you feel like you're ready to grow?
Yeah.
And they always tell me, you're growing every single day.
You are.
You're growing there's never going to be like, okay, do this for 3 months and then you'll grow. Do this for 6 months. Do this.
It's never that way.
It's not
it's never that way.
Correct.
And it's different for everybody.
Exactly.
Your 3 to 6 months might look different than my 3 to 6 months. You know what I mean?
Correct.
And a lot of people have unrealistic expectations and they're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go open a salon now. And I'm just like, you have no clients. This is not like Walmart. They're not gonna be lined up outside waiting for you to open the doors. You have to gain that clientele.
Exactly.
You have to gain that trust.
And that experience.
Yes, and you have to have that experience because it's not just about application. It's a lot about customer service, and a lot of people don't have that experience in customer service. They don't know how to deal with people.
Yeah.
They don't know how to deal with problems. They don't know how to deal with just a lot of business-related issues, right, that we run into along the way.
Yeah.
And so they think it's just like from one day to the next. It's like, no, don't get discouraged. You have to start here, and you're going to work your way up, right?
Yes.
If it took you a couple of years, then expect that it's going to take a couple of years. If it happens faster for you, then that's great.
Right.
That's awesome. But, you know, don't set yourself up for failure to start.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So, you know, you started in that little room. Now you're here in this big, amazing space. What's next for you? Like, what are your plans? Like, I'm here now. I've accomplished all of this. I'm an educator. You know, I do this, I do that. Like, what's next for you? What do you want to do?
I think that there's always room to be better in every single genre in life, right?
Yeah.
You can always be like just a tiny 1 centimeter better, 1 millimeter better. And so sometimes at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year, you just refigurate everything and what you can possibly do better, and you focus on that. Yeah. So I think that, you know, to grow the salon in a way where we have the best products, we have the best service, we have the best training, we make sure that we implement all of our experiences and then reconfigurate and revisit everything. I feel like all my students, I always tell them, every single new classes that I train, you're getting the better version.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every single month I'm
agree with
learning.
that.
And I'm still doing lashes, so I'm always learning too. I haven't left the industry. You know, I still have the muscle memory, and so I'm always learning new techniques, and I have to. You know?
That's absolutely important. I sometimes think that a lot of techs, they go and train with like a big company, and they think they know it all.
Right.
Right? And then you try to show them or teach them something, and they're like, oh no, I don't think that's the correct way, right?
Right.
They don't want to learn something new. And I always say, if you want to teach me something, I'm going to pay attention because I may already know it, but I may not know some of the things that you're doing.
Correct.
And I'm going to pick up on those things, and I'm going to add them to what I know.
Yeah.
And, you know, being a new lash tech, or even if you're, you know, have been in the game for maybe 2 or 3 years.
You have to learn how to be
You
a student.
have to learn to be a student. You have to.
Yeah.
It's absolutely necessary. And like you said, we're always still learning.
Right.
You know?
Always.
I started a long time ago, and things changed dramatically in the industry. And I had to like relearn things sometimes that I was uncomfortable with.
Right.
But I'm used to using this.
Right.
But I like using this.
Correct.
You don't want to make changes, but change is necessary for you to grow.
Oh, absolutely.
And I know, just like you said, you went through the learning and the more knowledge. You know, I've been through that too. And I absolutely agree that it's necessary for you to learn and to grow and continue to learn and grow. Like I still take, you know, some courses here and there myself, and I'm like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought about that.
And
you know what I mean?
And when you start learning from different people and perspective, you have to delegate and you have to like separate if this is an opinion.
Yes, exactly.
Or there's a reason why behind they do what they do.
Exactly.
And when I teach, I always explain, this is not the WoaLash way. This is the way because.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's when you start to really absorb the process of learning new information. Because it's not just like, oh, well, this is, you know, the WoaLash way. They just teach me. No, I'm going to teach you because I've tested the result already. And I have proof and I have testimonials.
Right. And that's so amazing because, you know, you're not just teaching in your opinion, what works, right? You're gathering all this information and then you're giving it to them and they're, you know, kind of taking that information, the bits and pieces and putting it into their own, you know, so
and their experience
as well. So that's, you know, really amazing that you do that because a lot of people just teach one way and this is the way and that's the way only that you can do things and that's it. And those are the worst classes you can take.
Right, because they don't have the answers.
They don't have the answers.
They don't have the answers to everything because they don't understand it and they chose not to understand it. Yeah. But if you're actually open to be able to learn from other people and be a student, you'd be surprised how much you'll learn.
Exactly. Like I have taken some courses and I'm like, well, I don't agree with that. You know,
you challenge them.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. But can you tell me why? Right. You know, and you got to get that information. I have tried to teach students how to do manual removals in certain ways. Right. And they're like, well, I don't want to do that. I just don't think that it works well that way. And I'm like, okay.
Let's put it into a test. I love a good challenge.
I know.
I'm like, let's put it into a test.
And you know, I do that as well. I'm like, well, let me show you. You know, and they're like, well, I don't like how that looks. I just don't. You know, it's just a lot of negative. You know, and I'm like, stop doing that to yourself. Stop doing that to yourself. Keep learning. Pick up on whatever you can, and you know, it's just going to add to your value. Right. And you know, of course, take a good certification class because there's a lot of people charging $700, $800, $900 for application classes, right? They don't give the information that you or I would give in a class, which would be just like so many details. Yes. And they take these classes and then come to one of ours, right?
And they're like,
yeah, exactly.
Wait, what?
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, you have to look for that class that has the information. Right. Has the information. Have you had students that come and they're like, what? Nobody taught me this?
Yes.
Like all the time, right?
I do. I have a lot of students that, you know, that have taken classes and they're like, well, I've never, you know, was taught this way. And, you know, it's like, well, I'm going to tell you why. And they're like, wow, you know.
Yeah. I just feel like there's so many blind leading the blind, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And you're just like, oh, my God, like this is outrageous. And then you understand why TDLR regulates it, right? Then you understand why.
Absolutely.
And, you know, I come from lashing at home myself when I started, right? I remember pulling up a chair from my dining room set to the edge of my couch, doing my first set there, you know? And I try to understand that people are doing that, you know what I mean? Because like you said, you didn't want to take that leap. You were scared, you know? And so I did that part-time. I did that part-time. Yeah, I did it part-time as well, and it was scary to take that leap, so I did it part-time for a long time, and I knew that I was unlicensed, right? So, and then once I got licensed, I was just like, oh my God, this opens so many doors, right? It opens so many doors, and people ask, well, why do you always tell people you have to get licensed, you have to get licensed if you weren't licensed, right? And I'm like, I didn't know that this was something that I wanted to do as a career. Right. I wanted to do it part-time because it was making me money. Right. And I liked it, I enjoyed it, but when I got to a certain point, I didn't know if I wanted to take that leap because like you said, it's scary. Yeah, and it's a huge level of commitment. It is. You know? It is. Like, school is not cheap. It's not. So. And time. The time that it takes you, people automatically think the money, right? A certification class, I always say, take a certification class. It's gonna tell you whether you want to do this. Get your foot in the door. Yeah. Exactly. It's gonna tell you because they're like, well, why don't you just tell us to get licensing if it's a requirement? And I'm like, I didn't know I wanted to do this when I started. If I got my license and then ended up not doing it, I would have been really out of pocket.
Correct.
Right? I paid probably $1,400 way back then to take this type of class. Imagine if I would have done licensing. That would have taken a lot of my time and money. And then when I finally said, this is what I want to do, then I'm like, I'm going to get my license. Right? And I know that happened to you. I know you said you're started in, esthetician school. And so that's a journey.
That was because I could only afford to do part-time.
Yeah.
Because I had to pay my bills.
You had to support yourself.
I had to support myself. So, I mean, I lived 45 minutes away from my school, and the commitment of having to be there from 5 to 10:30 every night, I think 4 to 5 days a week.
Oh my God.
I worked for a plastic surgeon, I remember, and I have to be at work at 8, and I leave work at 4:30, 5 o'clock. I mean, I asked the doctor if I can leave a little bit early just because of traffic. And so can you imagine packing your lunch and, the school require you to wear all black.
Yeah.
But my job requires me to wear completely something different.
Yeah.
So if I forget one thing, I am screwed.
Yeah.
Right? So there's not much Uber Eats back in the day. And so there were so many challenges that forces me to be so disciplined, be so responsible, take care of myself, but also maximize my ability as a human being.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
we all are so, we're what is that word? What is the word I'm looking for? Like system in our mind.
Yeah.
We think we can only work 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we think that we have to go home and we have to watch a couple hours of movies. And I think we have to relax on the weekend.
Yeah.
We have, all of those things.
I get
but
that.
when you don't have a choice,
Yeah.
and you gotta give life 16 hours on a day, and you gotta
Absolutely.
you push your
I've done
limits
that,
to a whole nother level. And guess what? 16 hours a day now is nothing to me because I've done it.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
So
It's another day.
conditioned. That's what I was looking for. We're all conditioned to think that we're only capable of working 8 hours a day, when the honest truth is you're capable of working so much more, even if it's just not an actual work, but the effort that you put in towards growth and value.
Absolutely.
There's just so many,
That's very, very true. I think people automatically, I don't like to hear people say, I just work 8 hours a day. That's it.
Yeah.
And after 8 hours, don't talk to me tomorrow till my 8 hours start again.
Yeah.
Right? And in our world, that doesn't exist.
It doesn't.
At 2 a.m., we're like, oh, I forgot to send her this text. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're like, oh, I forgot to answer this. You know what I mean? Like, we're always doing something, or I'm editing this video, or I'm doing,
Right.
We're always doing something, and people take that and they're like, oh no, that's too hard.
Okay.
That's too hard, right? And they don't understand that school is where it all starts.
Yeah.
That's where you learn.
Sacrifices.
That's where you know who's going to make it and who is not.
Correct.
At school. You know by looking at your other classmates who's going to make it and who isn't.
Yeah.
Because those that are like, I'm going to do this, I'm here, I want to cry today, but I'm still here today. Right. I used to do the same thing as you, but I did it the other way around. In the day, I would go to school when I took the jump. And I was already lashing a whole lot of people, so I had to change my schedule to evening hours to lash.
Right.
And so I would go to school all day and lash all evening, and then had to do it again the next day. And I was mentally exhausted.
Yeah. And if
physically,
you're 1 minute off track,
yes,
the whole day explodes. Like, you're just having a bad day at that point. If you forget one thing, and 1 minute is off on your schedule, that's why. But it definitely prepared me to be the business owner that I am today.
Exactly.
And it helps my mind prepared for my day so much that I'm grateful for that journey.
Yeah, I feel like it creates that discipline for you, right? Like, if you don't have that discipline, like, you think that you may have it, but you're not sure. Once you get into school, it forces you.
Yeah.
It forces you to have that discipline. And you're like, because you have that end goal. And like you said, you have to support yourself.
Yeah.
So you don't have an option.
Yeah.
You can't quit. You're like, you know what, this is too hard. I'm out of here. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You have that end goal and you're like, I need to make this work.
Right.
I'm going to make this happen.
Right.
And, you know, it doesn't happen for everybody if they don't show that discipline.
It doesn't.
Because there's some people that go to school and they just want to break all the rules. Well, I don't know why I have to wear black. Well, I don't know why I have to, you know what I mean? It's like,
It's
this is the stupidest,
yeah,
like, this is just
so
the stupidest,
small
you know, like.
excuses.
Yeah. And it's just like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, I
Like,
completely agree.
Yeah, it's not going to work out for you because we have so much discipline now or we can't make it.
Yeah.
You know, and people think like, oh, once you're a salon owner, that's it. Like, you're good, girl.
No,
right?
That's just getting warmed up. We haven't even got hot yet. We're just getting a little toasty.
Yes, it's like you work more than if you were working a 9 to 5.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? And
You're
if you don't have the
stressed more.
discipline in school, you're not going to have the discipline to, because I always tell people like working for yourself is harder because your bed feels really good. There's nobody telling you you need to be here at 8 a.m. or 9 a.m. or 10 p.m., whatever. So you have that choice to stay in bed.
Right.
Right? And so you have to have that discipline yourself to push yourself out of bed and say, no, I'm going to make it happen today and I'm going to make it happen every single day. What motivates you?
Oh, being broke. I love food.
Know, me
I
too.
love food, so I got to be able to afford the
Yeah.
food that I want to eat.
Yes.
I was in a nightlife industry for so long, and it was easy money, but it costs depleted my like soul because it was at night, you know, and I would wake up so late and I'm hungover and I gotta, you know, it takes like 3-4 hours to really like sweat it out.
Yeah.
And so I was just so exhausted. I was so tired.
I know.
And I'm like, wow, in order to live the life that I wanted to live, I really don't want to have to exchange my like soul and like my consciousness for that amount of money. Like, why can't I just genuinely be happy and actually go to bed by 10, you know? And so that was what's literally what motivated me to just, okay, you have to make a decision. At this point, either this or that, and no going back. And so if I told myself, like, if you can work until 2, why can't you work until 2 sitting, doing lashes?
That's true.
Why can't you do that?
Very
you know?
true.
And so it was pivotal moment of who do I want to be, and do I really think that I'm worth only this much in this lifetime? That was literally the moment of what I'm like, did God really brought me into this world to make me work this way?
Exactly.
Deplete my body and not feel fulfilled at the end of the day and wake up and do the same thing over? Or am I worth way more? Can I add value into others and be happy and genuinely just add that fulfillment? And so that was a decision that I made. And I'm like, let's do it, and never looked back.
That's great. Did you have any friends that were like, you can do it? Or you got to do this?
I got so lucky. My best friend of 10 years, Ricky, shout out. He owns High Beautiful Aesthetic, and he got started a year and a half, 2 years before I did. And so I leaned on him so much. And he's just like, you can do it. No, this is what you do.
God,
this is how you do. And I'm just like a sponge. So I'm like, absorb, 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 absorb. And then the more that I absorb, the more he wants to help.
Oh, that's amazing to have a friend like that.
I literally owe like a part of this business to him. He's literally one of the best. Yeah.
That's amazing to have a friend like that that pushes you, that motivates you, that wants the best for you and wants it for himself too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so we kind of like grew together in so many great ways. But you know, I don't want anybody to get discouraged if you don't have a Ricky, right? Because at the end of the day, it's still your bank account, it's still your stress, it's still your risk,
absolutely,
and it's still your responsibility to wake up.
Yeah.
You can have 10 people that says, you can do it, you can do this, and I got you, here's the information. But at the end of the day, it all falls down on you and your actions.
Absolutely, it really does.
I had a mentor, an actual real mentor for a year, Tom Black, which I'm very grateful to him. And he literally held me accountable for every single thing. Through a friend. So my friend, that was her mentor, and she like loves him, and and the greatest part about him is he's very, very successful. So he does mentorship genuinely to just do God's work.
Oh, that's
and
amazing.
if you guys Google Tom Black, he's the man.
Tom Black, we're Googling you.
Yes, he's amazing. He's just an amazing person. But he held me accountable for the things that I don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
Because as a business owner, certain things you just don't want to look at.
Yeah.
And he's like, what's going on with this? Tell me this. Why didn't you add this? And I owe him so much because of his time that I have to get it done.
Yeah.
For his sake, not for my sake.
Yeah. It's like you're putting this energy, throwing this energy to me.
Yeah.
And I have to
I have to reciprocate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the mentorship was there, and I seek for people. Like I've reached out to, lash business owners. I've asked salon owners. I've had interviews. Like it has been such a major intention for me to make sure I find the right mentorship in the beginning stages, because I just want to understand other people's pattern.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not to ask for great experience. It's ask for the bad experiences that they had to go through.
Exactly.
Because that's what's
going to help you.
Exactly.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't think that they can ask those questions, but I have ran into so many people with so much experience that I'm like, hey, I have a problem. At my salon, this is happening. What would you do? Oh, well, actually, and they give you genuine advice. There's people that actually want to help you make it, know? And with their experience, they just feed you so much information, and they're so useful. I don't know why more people don't ask people. Right. It's like, don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah. I have never been afraid to ask questions or ask for help.
Yeah, me
I
either.
think that's really important.
It is very important.
You just don't know the connection and the resources that person has. Even if they have nothing to do with your industry, they're able to see it from a completely different view.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that.
That's so true. Sometimes you're just so
close.
Yeah. You're just like,
problems.
This is my bubble.
Yeah.
Right? This is my little bubble, and nobody can help me.
Yep.
And I'm just going to have to figure it out. And if somebody is on the outside looking at you like, girl, that's not even a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're like,
Ricky does that to me all the time. He's like, what? What do you mean? Or like, it's 2023. You can Google. I always tell my students, this is messed up. It's not because I don't want to help you, but literally Google.
Yeah,
like Google
I know.
everything.
Just Google it.
Just Google it, exactly. And like, there's just YouTube. There's so many resources.
There's
out
like
there.
fact checker. Like you check facts online now.
Everything.
So there's so much information out there. So much information.
Yeah.
But a good mentorship absolutely is just
really important.
Yeah, very, very important. There's so many people that are willing to help you. Ask for the help. I mean, I don't want you to go and ask them like,
wait, yeah, because I want to. How do I start a business? Girl?
Yes, exactly.
You're gonna get.
Don't ask those type of questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I have.
Oh my God, girl, you don't even have to say a word.
Control, our brain just like control, alt, delete. I listened to this Mark Cuban video, this interview that it literally speaks to me almost every week. I listen to him. And he says, questions doesn't get asked, doesn't get unanswered or something like that. He thinks it's stupid because he said, if you have one question with me, that question will tell me how prepared you are. So I always ask my student, like I challenge them, if they ask me a question, I go, if you're gonna get $1 million to ask me one question, is that the question? Or will you go out in your phone and find the resources first and you X out every single possibility?
Yeah.
So that's what you gotta do. You can't just like, give me information.
Right.
How do I do this? There's so many resources, so you gotta maximize your resources first. When you've done everything that you possibly can, check.
Yes, exactly.
Then, if you truly
like you said, if that information is not on Google, then ask me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But don't ask me, how do I get a DBA?
Yeah. What's a license? Why do I need it?
I'm like, girl. Like, okay, when in your mind did you want to get a DBA, and why didn't you look it up? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I thought that was a question.
No,
I was like,
the DBA. It's like, what?
Sorry.
Like, why are you not doing research?
Yeah.
Right? Because nobody said, oh, hey, girl, this is how you get a DBA. what you're gonna do is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like,
we all
Google,
gotta figure it
help
out.
me how to get a DBA.
We all gotta figure it out.
You know what I mean?
Ways.
And eventually you turn that into something else.
Right.
But I mean, to get started, you need to be doing research, and you need to be figuring it out. And like you said, when you absolutely have run out of resources and you're
Right.
like, okay,
now it's time.
Lucy, how do I, you know what I mean? Because I've looked everywhere and I can't find the answer, and I'm hoping you can help me, right? Not like, how do I start a business? And where do I buy my lash supplies? And where do I do, you know, I mean, so many questions. And then you're just like, okay, girl, I did a lot of footwork. What is like one of the biggest, like, girl, like, this is the advice I'm going to give you. Don't feel bad if this happens. You know, what is that?
I think it's more of the fear of getting rejections, clientele's rejections. I think that is more mental, and mental, it's like the biggest thing. Because any mistake you make physically, just get over it.
Yeah.
You know, you're not gonna blind someone, right? Hopefully not, right?
But, you can, but you won't, I hope.
The one main important thing that's really going to push you in your shell is rejection.
That's true.
Right? Like people don't understand that it's just an opinion.
Yeah.
It's just an opinion. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, you learn how to communicate to your clients, a rejection is just another number.
Right.
And so that's one thing that I would always tell my students or my girls, that just because one girl doesn't like your work doesn't mean that it's the end of the world for your artistry.
That's very true.
So just be prepared for rejection. Be prepared for, you know, people that doesn't know how to communicate and doesn't know what they like or what they want, or they have this certain vision in their head that you guys don't speak the same language.
Exactly. You just have to be very informative with your clients.
Yep.
So with your new clients, you gotta like show me a picture, because sometimes when the communication is not there, you give them something totally different. That's not what I wanted, you know. And it's like, well, like this is what you said, you know.
Right.
And that's very true. Rejection is one of the biggest things. Even when they leave,
blockage.
Yeah. Even when they leave, you're like, I wonder if she liked them.
Yeah.
She looked like she liked them. Is she gonna post it?
Yeah.
Is she gonna post?
She didn't say she loved them.
Yeah.
She said she liked them.
Yeah.
Was she smiling? No.
Like, it's okay, girl. You're practicing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
You're fine. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah. And you know, a lot of people automatically think that if I'm doing volume, my volume has to look like your volume, and your volume has to look like her volume for it to be really volume. And everybody's volume is going to look a little different.
My volume don't even look like my volume.
Right. And you know, I tell people all the time, like, that is why there is a million shoe stores, a million clothing stores.
Right.
Because not everybody has the same taste.
Exactly.
Everybody likes things differently. You could do a volume set. I could do a volume set. 20 people come to you, 20 people come to me. I'm like, well, I like her volume. Well, I like her volume, right? They're all a little different. It just depends on people's taste.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad if they don't come back and they go somewhere else.
Right.
Right? It's fine, because some of those people might go to you. I have, you know, clients that come to me from other lash techs too.
Right.
And, you know, they're like, well, I just didn't like, you know, this or that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, you know, what do you like?
Right.
And then you want to make sure you give them a whole experience. Like, this is what she wanted. This is what she, you know,
set
what
an
I'm going to.
expectation.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. So don't feel bad if someone's like, I liked it, but I'm going to stick to so-and-so.
Yeah.
Right? It's fine. Because you know what?
We
She may
have
come back.
multiple texts here.
Yeah.
And not every time a client's going to come in and say, oh, I want to only stick with you. Everyone, every hands, every artistry is different.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that, because,
Absolutely.
you know, that's why we call you an artist, because you're an artist,
Yeah,
right? And no one can
exactly.
copy and mimic your work.
Absolutely. That's very true. So to sum it all up, tell us a little bit. If you were talking to our beginner lash techs, like, girl, this is going to happen, but at the very end, this is what you're going to get. Like, sum it all up. If you're giving advice, someone's sitting in front of you, she's a very new lash tech, and she says, Lucy, give me some words of wisdom.
Okay. Words of wisdom. Every single small decisions that you make daily will be results. You will see results in it. So whether it's positive or negative, every morning that you wake up, you make the decision to either be or not be. So as an entrepreneur, as a lash artist, or as whoever that you want to be, you gotta make the small little decisions to better yourself, right? So the food you eat, how many hours you're practicing, right? Your products, how long did it take for you to educate yourself? Things like that. Those small little detail really matters, because maybe not today, but in 5 years, in 1 year, in 3 years, you'll be able to see that growth and the result. And that started from the small little decision that you decided to make.
Absolutely.
So that's my word of wisdom that I always tell my students: expect discourage, expect negative feelings, expect you know, just feeling discouraged and just feeling like you're not good enough.
Yeah.
Expect all of that, but also know that you are meant to do something way better than where you are now. And you're responsible for it. Nobody is going to save you. You literally got to live your life the way that you're going to be homeless tomorrow.
Yeah.
And that is the urgency of how you got to live your life.
Yeah.
So yeah, life is like a pie. Entrepreneurship is like a pie. Every single small little pieces that equal to the amount of mental, emotional, work on yourself, internal, work out, you know, have faith, do all of those things really do makes up.
They do.
One pie. Because guess what? If you can't handle pressure, working at 16 hours, guess what? The level that when you get to the next phases and stages of entrepreneurship,
it's going to be worse.
You are going to break like this. And guess what? When you have employees, they look at you and they say, what do? You got to be the strong one. And if you don't prepare yourself to be strong and to just get over it and just fix and find a solution,
exactly,
you're going to break. And
absolutely
if you break,
true.
Everybody breaks.
That's very, very, very true.
Yeah.
And, you know, I couldn't have put it out there better myself. Those are amazing words of wisdom. Absolutely every word that Lucy said is 100% true. And that is something that everybody needs to just live by if you're doing the lash thing, you know, like continue and think about those things, because it can break you at some point.
Yeah.
You can get burnt out. Take a few days off and recover and come back stronger. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And you'll make it. Just don't give up.
Yeah. And find the code to who you are.
Yeah.
The code. Like, what does Lucy need today to be happy?
Yeah.
What does Lucy needs to feel today to feel motivation? What kind of music? What kind of outfit that she needs to wear today? The code. Because if you have a baby daughter, you're going to be like, I know what makes her happy.
Yeah.
I know when she needs to wake up. I know what she needs to eat. I know how many hours she needs to go to sleep.
Absolutely, yeah.
So your mom or whoever that loves you has a code to you. You got to figure it out, the code to yourselves.
Absolutely. You have to be happy. You have to make yourself happy to genuinely be happy.
Right.
Especially.
And whatever happiness that is, whatever that is.
Yes, whatever that is. Stop living for everybody else.
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
And when you live for yourself and you do what absolutely makes you happy, I feel like everything in your life just flourishes.
Yeah.
You know,
it comes together.
Yeah, it comes together. Focus on you. Sometimes, you know what I've heard a lot of the times is like when people go through breakups, they're like, people do so much more than when they're together.
I know.
Right?
Isn't it sad?
It is sad. It's very sad, but it's 100% true.
It is true.
I feel like you focus more on you, on loving you, on doing you, on practicing you, on just you everything, that you're like, who was I over there?
Small little decision.
Yes.
This kind of goes back to small little decision.
Yeah.
You give small pieces of yourself slowly, and within 3 years, 5 years, you lose yourself.
Yeah.
And you don't even know when you lost yourself.
You don't. You don't know when you lost yourself.
And then you have to start over.
Yeah.
Pick up the pieces.
But find yourself. Find yourself, love yourself, focus on you, focus on what you want to do. If you are, I mean, I swear, single people, I feel sometimes have it the best.
Yeah.
Because you just have to worry about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But with the right partner.
Yes, with the right partner.
With the right partner will absolutely motivate
with the right
you and
partner,
inspire you.
Yes.
And you just feel like stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. But I hear them complain sometimes like, oh, I'm single, I have no one. You know what I mean? And I'm like, girl, go get it. You know what I mean? Go get it.
It's hot girl summer.
Yes, hot girl summer, girl, do it. You know what I mean? But yeah, if you have the right partner, absolutely. I know my spouse motivated me a lot.
Yeah.
And though I could have asked a lot from him to help me, I was always very independent. And I was like, no, I want this to come out of me. I want this to flourish because I did it, not because someone helped me, right? I don't want somebody say, here's a couple of, $1,000, here's a couple $100 so that you can get started. No, I want to start here because, I want to do it on my own. And they're like, I've heard people say stuff like, oh, well, she has a spouse that does this, so, she probably did it because of him. Or, oh, you have a friend, Ricky, that already has a business. She probably,
it's just an excuse.
Yeah, she probably did it because of him. You know what I mean? He probably helped her. But a lot of the times they don't realize all the hard work that it takes, all the hard work, It's a lot of footwork, and you do it because you want to do it.
You can just sign.
And so, we want to make sure that everybody has, a short-term goal plan, a long-term goal plan, and that's very important also for them.
Right.
What were your short-term goals?
To make it.
To make it, you're like, short-term goal 1, short goal 2, 3, and 4, make it.
Like, wake up, girl, let's just make it. Let's be able to afford lunch.
Right?
So short-term goal was to be booked out 2 weeks, right? Like, what does that feel like to be fully booked out? So that was me as a lash artist. And then, after I was booked out, was like, okay, let's get a little place. And then after that, let's hire someone and let's get her booked out. And so small, little, tiny steps. And then in 6 months, where do we want to be?
Yeah.
In a year, in 5 years, how do we want? When you just started, the system you start to develop a system.
Yeah.
You don't have a system yet.
Yeah.
But, the short-term goals are really important. Write everything down because it's so inspiring and like just fulfillment to look back in your goals. I'm like, ew, like that's my goal? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I can do that in my sleep,
Yes, exactly. You don't realize what those goals, like they're just so doable.
Yeah, and how you look back and you're like, wow, now my goals are so much bigger.
Yeah.
That's how you start to realize how small your mindset is so
your mind frame
small.
is just so like closed off to the world. And you're like, this is as far as I think that I can get. So this is what I'm going to put down.
Yeah.
But always make your goals bigger.
Yeah. And surround yourself with people that are doing better than you.
Oh my God, yes, that's a big one. A big one.
Yeah.
Because
you can't be the only one that's giving out hands and just stretching out. You gotta be around people that when you need help, not all the time, but when you need help, they're going to hand out their hands.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that have friends that want to party. They want to be at the club scenes, at the bar scenes. They want to do this and they want to do that, but they don't have the same goals as you. So they don't understand why you want to go home at midnight because you have to work in the morning.
Right.
You have to lash. You have a full day of lashing in the morning. And they're like, no, stay here, hang out, girl. Like, let's drink it up. You know what I mean? Like, forget those people.
Yeah. And don't ask people for advice that you don't want to be like.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. I don't know. But, a lot of people get off track when they start hanging around people that don't even have the goals that they have. You know what
develop a conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because a lot of time you are just living your mind like autopilot and you just react based on other people's reactions. But you actually like look internally and start to really develop consciousness. Yeah. There's always an intention for every single actions and relationships that you put in.
Yeah.
It's gotta be an equal amount of value.
Yeah.
But that's just comes with consciousness. Like, why am I hanging out with her?
Exactly.
Why do I? What?
And it's very important when you're starting because those people will hold you back. They will hold you back and you don't even know that's what they're doing.
They either will hold you back or they either will pull you faster than anyone else.
Yeah.
Like there's literally a level of friendship where they can your success can get expedited or can really slow you down by years. So you got to choose the right people.
Exactly.
And you got to give the same value.
Exactly. Absolutely. And you know, it's so much, there's so much knowledge when you hang out with like-minded individuals.
Oh, yeah.
You're just like, your conversation is different.
Oh, yeah.
The table, you know, the conversation at that table is so much different than those other people. And you're like, I want to sit over here.
Yeah.
We're like, I don't care about.
You're like, you made what? Oh, scoot over.
Like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Tell me more about
How?
it. And you put your hair behind your ear. Like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So super intentional with all the relationships and just making sure that, you know, if you can offer this, they can offer that.
Yeah.
And it's just, whether you're choosing or not, you're choosing.
Yeah.
Whether you're going to love someone because of whatever the case is, you're choosing.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and so the end result will affect you.
Yeah.
Because you love that person.
Yep.
So, you know, whether you just,
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
But anyway, oh my God, we've had such amazing conversation.
Yes, thank you so much.
This has been amazing. All the info that you have given our, you know, entrepreneurs, our new lash techs out there, someone even thinking about joining this industry, I promise you guys that every single word is 100% true. Don't take it lightly. Work hard from the very beginning and just run with it. Don't let anybody else stop you. Leave those tables where the conversation isn't very good, isn't where you want to be, and join those tables of, you know, women and entrepreneurs and, you know, people that are going to help you elevate you. Again, it's been an amazing time here with you, Lucy. Thank you so much for having us here in your amazing studio.
Thank you.
Where are you located?
We are by the Galleria area, so 610 Memorial. We love new faces, so you guys are always welcome, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys, and we'll see you guys next time in the Lash Life. Bye.
Bye.